Alright, today we are doing, I got 3 of these big old racks of short ribs, beef short ribs. And we just got to start out trying to cut off all this silver skin and trim the fat down. So we're just going to go up under this, try not to get all our good meat off there if we can. This, you need a good sharp knife, a really sharp knife. Alright, you get the idea, you know how to do this, I'm sure. So I'll bring you back when it's time to season them. Alrighty, we got them all trimmed up, and look here, this is all the silver skin and fat. I got a little bit of meat in there, but for the most part we did alright. Now I got some kosher salt, which is a larger grain salt, which you want, because the bigger granules is going to let me just open this side up. The larger granules are going to let the smoke through, so I've been told. These are big old cuts of meat, so you can go, don't forget the sides, you can go pretty heavy. The meat's going to take it. Look at those big old bones. Golly, big old dino bone looking things. These are smaller bones. I think these are short ribs also, but they came from 2 different stores. So these aren't nearly as good looking of a rib as, whoops, as the other ones. But, and here we got coarse ground pepper. That's all I'm going to put on these things today is some salt. Going Texas style. Pretty heavy coat of some coarse ground pepper. There ain't no need to get the back, because nobody's going to be back there. And we got a little extra piece here for some snacky. The skin on the back of this one's even half as thick as the others. I don't know, it may get done pretty quick. Alright. I know it looks like I'm going pretty thick, but this is a thick old chunk of meat. We're going to let these hang out. No, we're not. We just put them, the grill's already up to temperature. Ow! That's hot. Let's just slap these suckers right on there. And down there, I don't know if you can see, I've got some big chunks of oak for smoke. Oh my Lord, what are we going to do? Alright. That'll work for now. We're going to rotate them later. But alright, we are rolling. I'll bring you back here in about an hour. And I should have showed how to make this, but I'm making a mop sauce. We got a whole stick of butter, about 1/4 of an onion, about a half of this bottle of Worcestershire, about a teaspoon of minced garlic, and I said 1/4 onion already. And I'm going to go in with a little bit more black pepper. And once the ribs get a good bark set, I'm going to bring it up to simmer and let it melt and those flavors combine. And then once they do, I'm going to go out and start mopping these ribs, but we got to wait for the bark to get set. Alright, it's been about 2 hours. I know it's kind of hard to see. The bark isn't set yet. I put a kind of a heat deflector / strip pan in there, but it's coming along pretty good. It's storming. It sure is. Land just fogged up. fixing to hail. Looks like it's supposed to get heavy hail with this. I don't know. We're going to rotate this around about a quarter of the way. We'll keep rotating that about every 30 minutes or so. Anyway, we'll come back here a little bit. It's looking pretty good. Got some good color on it. Smelling amazing. The bark isn't set up yet though. Been 2 hours. I expect it'll set by the 3rd or 4th hour. Hopefully. Alright. Alright. Our bark, kind of can't get that close. It's pretty much set. I'm just going to start doing a little bit of mopping here. It is pretty nasty windy out. These have been on 2 hours. And 2.5 hours, something like that. Anyway, I'm just going to mop them and rotate them. And I'll be back when they're getting closer. Alright. We are almost 3 hours in on the other ribs. And I've got here my other grill fired up, using it indirect as a smoker. And these are beef back ribs, which are the equivalent of baby backs and pork. But these don't have all the meat on top. They're in between. So there's a bone and there's a bone. You got meat. I've never cooked these before, so I don't know. I've got this grill going to be running about 300 degrees. And I want to put a piece of wood under here once I feel like the coals have taken off. But I've done the same thing with these. Salt and pepper. We're going to have a rib fest today. But they may turn out terrible. I don't know. Old Heinz. If hindsight was like foresight, all would be good in the world. That is the handle off a walking cane I had after I got in a bad motorcycle wreck about 10 years ago. And I named him Heinz because if hindsight was like foresight, it would have never happened. Anyway. Alright, ribs are coming along. We'll be back. Alrighty. We got some awesome bone pullback now. And we're running about 160, 165. We're getting close to wrapping. I just mopped everything again. And the ribs, these little beef back ribs, I just put in. They've been in there about 45 minutes. They don't need anything yet. They're just getting started. So we'll be back here in a little bit. I think the next time we come back, we're going to wrap these. Guys, I am wrapping these things. I think they feel pretty much probe tender, but they're only reading about 180 degrees. I don't know if you can read that. About 180. So I think they're ready to wrap. Anyway, I got one wrapped. Look at the pullback on those bones. And everything's good. I've been mopping them. We're going to wrap these, and then I'm going to get into the beef back ribs. They're still coming up, but I got 2 different things going on. So we'll be back here in a little bit. Alrighty. These things are so done. I'm just gonna, they really haven't rested yet that well. Those are, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Ooh, hot. Well, they are just pretty doggone done. And these are the little back ribs. There's not a lot to those. Well, looks like the meat's too tender under the bark to cut. What do we got going on here? Those don't have a lot of meat on them. Oh my God, they're good. These have almost too much meat on them. There they go. It's a win to me. Brisket on a stick. Anyway, I think it turned out pretty daggum good. It's old hillbilly. Y'all have a good old day.